If someone is righteous, then they're not unrighteous. But if someone is unrighteous, then they're not righteous. Right? Hi, this is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day 5 of the Torah portion Vayera, and he appeared. Let's go back to Bereshit, or Genesis chapter 20, read verse 4, and then we'll drop down a little further. It says in verse 4, however, Abimelech had not come near her, that is, had not come near Sarah, and he said, Yahweh, would you kill a righteous nation also? And then we go over to verse number 9. And Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, what have you done to us? What have I sinned against you that you have brought on me and on my reign a great sin? You have done matters to me that should not be done. And Abimelech said to Abraham, what did you have in view that you have done this matter? And Abraham said, only because I said to myself, the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they shall kill me for the sake of my wife. Now, who is righteous here and who is not acting righteously? It could be, that either side could make their point. Abimelech does not hold covenant with Yahweh, yet he self-identifies himself and his people as a righteous nation. Now, the Torah has not been given in codified form. It is an orally transmitted Torah from one generation to the other. It's not full and in-depth as we understand it now, yet there is probably more understood than we would understand, if you follow me. And so Abraham has this covenant relationship with the Most High. He is deemed and called and identified by Yah as a righteous man. And when Abimelech then identifies himself and his people as a righteous people, Yah does not correct him. Yah does not say, wait a minute, you're not righteous and you have sinned a great sin. What he does say to him, I could kill you for this. This is someone else's wife. But I'm innocent. I didn't know. Did he not tell me she was his sister? And did she not say to me, he is my brother? I'm innocent. And indeed, whether we like the guy or not is beside the point. He's right. And he's right to reprove Abraham and say, what are you doing? Why did you tell me she was your sister when she's your wife? And you have harmed me, and read between your lines, you nearly got me killed. You nearly had Yah to slay me. So Abraham, what are you thinking here? Abraham says, I did not believe that the fear of Elohim is in this place. Whatever he saw when he came into Gerar led him to believe that this was an unrighteous people, but the people thought themselves to be righteous. Who's righteous and who's not here? It is confusing. Case in point. There are many in the nation of America who would say we are a righteous nation, or at least we were founded on righteous principles. There are righteous things that the United States has done and is doing, caring for weaker nations, defending Israel, taking care of our own in many respects. I mean, you could go into a long list of the good things that the United States has done and is perhaps still doing. But then if you want a balance sheet, then here comes a very long list of things that the U.S. is involved in, both among its people and as a government and as a nation as a whole. We could be soundly criticized for it, and it could be deemed as very much unrighteous. So are we a righteous nation or not? We are a nation, and within this nation there are righteous people and there are unrighteous people. And it's not so much that Yah is kind of weighing the population from one side to the other. He's listening for the voices of the righteous, crying out to him for the redemption of the unrighteous and for the righteous leadership of this nation to rise up and lead us in the right direction. So in that day when he separates the sheep from the goats, if you look at that context in the book of Matthew, it's not people, it's nations. Will America be a goat nation that will be set aside for judgment, or will it be a nation that is set aside for blessing and acceptance? That remains to be seen. And there's a lot that will go ahead and write this nation off. And I can see easily how that would be done. We've just had, at the time of this recording, election returns for the state of Virginia, and I'm not happy about it. In my opinion, some very unrighteous leadership has risen to the top and been approved of and voted into office. And I'm grieving about where the state of Virginia is going and the direction that we're headed. The things that were espoused by this group of candidates is anti-scriptural, anti-Yah, it is anti-Torah, it is unrighteous, and in great measure. What are we to do? Are we to throw up our hands and say, oh yeah, we're done, find us another place? And that's tempting. And I'm already hearing voices suggesting that that's the next thing on the agenda. We need to abandon camp and go find a better place. Again, it's tempting. But in my heart, I'm not ready to yield the field yet. I believe that there is more that can be prayed. There is more that can be done. And I don't want to yield to the forces of darkness prematurely. I believe that light can still prevail, but it's not going to be an easy task. And it's not something that we should assume, well, it's His will, and therefore it's going to be done one way or the other. The will of Elohim being accomplished comes about, as we said yesterday, through human agency. And the will of the Most High can be thwarted and turned aside when His own people that He chooses to use refuse to listen or be involved, or for some reason pack up and just go away. Abraham was told, pray for the man. Yes, he took your wife. Yes, it was an innocence. And yes, you're going to pray for him. And Yahweh had Abraham, it says in verse 17, Abraham prayed to Elohim, and Elohim healed Abimelech and his wife and his female servants so that they bore children. Yah had stopped all future generations among them, and we don't know to what extent physically that took place. What we're saying then is this: if you're going to be righteous, act righteously. You can't just claim it. You can't assume righteousness. Righteousness is not bestowed because you're not messing up or because you choose to do right things. Righteousness comes through covenant relationship with the Most High. Abimelech and the people of Gerar accepted the idea we must be a righteous people. Yah spared them not because necessarily their righteous standing, but out of His mercy and His compassion, and for the fact He did discern that they acted in the innocence of heart. But He called the righteous to intercede for them. So whether we see that someone is acting unrighteously or righteously, we are to pray for them and ask God to lead them in the right fashion. Shabbat shalom to you. May the King dwell with you, abide with you, reveal Himself to you, fill your home with His joy, with His delight, with His light and illumination, with the revelation of His word, and may shalom fill your home. Until next week, Shabbat Shalom.